After finishing a certain post-apocalyptic TV show on Amazon Prime, it really made me want to replay one of my favourite PS4 games, so without further ado, Fallout 4 was released on the 10th of November 2015, becoming the 4th main game in the beloved series. Now the actual Platinum is only a 3 out of 10 difficulty and is not very challenging, so we're going to answer the question, can you Platinum Fallout 4 on survival difficulty? Alright, I promise this intro is nearly done, but if you don't know what survival difficulty is, basically saving and autosaving are disabled. You must now sleep in a bed to save the game. You deal more damage, but you also receive more damage, making you more like a glass cannon. Fast travelling is not a feature. If you want to go to the opposite side of the map, you must walk there now, and there is a hunger and thirst system now that you must keep up to, otherwise you suffer from debuffs. If you'd prefer an actual demonstration of what it's like to play this game, oh look, a legendary enemy. I hope I get something good. Well, never. As you can imagine, our journey begins with nuclear fallout. We seek shelter in Vault 111, only to be frozen as part of an experiment in which we see our wife murdered and son kidnapped. Eventually, we're unfrozen and able to leave and start our adventure. Annoyingly, I can't find the footage for this first part, so I've had to go back and recreate it, and there won't be any trophy pop-ups for the first 4 trophies. But in leaving the vault for the first time, I unlocked my first trophy, and after returning home, settlements in this game have a mechanic to scrap items for resources. So naturally, I scrapped every single thing I could find until the settlement was barren. Why, you might ask? Well, building in a settlement gives you XP, so I used all the resources I found and scrapped to build nearly 1,400 fence posts. And doing this unlocked me trophies for gathering 1,000 resources, building 100 workshop items and reaching level 5. I mostly did this so I could get a couple levels and perks before heading out, just to make the start of the game a bit easier. And after going to Concord to meet the Minutemen for the first time, I killed some raiders and that gave me enough XP to hit level 10. Inside the Museum of Freedom, Preston and the others are trapped, and after clearing out the raiders on the way to Preston, I found a holotape game, and playing it got me a trophy. Those holotape games make me so nostalgic for like the old PSP and Nintendo DS days, but after talking to Preston we get our first set of power armor and we have to use it to kill a nearby Deathclaw. With that done, we head back to Sanctuary to meet up with Preston, completing the When Freedom Calls quest to get the trophy. So we're going to have to fast forward a little bit into the future. The next trophy, Unlikely Valentine, is further down the main story. Basically, we're looking for a detective who can help us find our son, but we find out he has been kidnapped. So we have to go to the vault they are using as a hideout, shoot up everyone in our way and free him. I died quite a few times here while I was getting used to the difficulty. But eventually I managed to do it, and we can free Nick. And once we're outside with Nick, we can talk to him to get the next trophy. I'm not actually sure why, but after this quest I headed back to Sanctuary Hills. Maybe it was to get more supplies I had left there or to decompress after that quest. But as it turns out, I had missed a very easy trophy here for finishing a quest that is basically just a settlement tutorial. But I skipped this because I had done it before I'd already understood how it worked. Anyway, I provided beds, water, food and defences for the settlement, and in return I got a trophy for doing so. So this is finally it. It's now time for a reunion with the man who reduced our wife's HP to 0. What do you know though, we checked his house and he wasn't home. After using Dogmeat, our precious companion, to track him down, leading us all the way to Fort Hagen, and you'll get used to me saying this, I shot my way through the enemies inside until I found the man I was looking for. This time, however, though, I had came prepared, and yeah, it's time to confront our wife's killer. So anyway, he's dead. Gone. I don't think he's going to be able to talk to us anymore. And after that, we finished the quest, giving me the next trophy. Basically, we scoop up the cybernetic implants from Kellogg and access his memories to find out our son Sean was taken to a place called the Institute. But you can only access this through a teleporter. With that information, we get the next trophy. Oh boy, my least favourite part, the walking simulator. Here I have to walk all the way to the bottom of the map to speak to a man named Virgil about the Institute teleporter. I then have to walk all the way back up the map and have another polite conversation with an Institute Corsa to grab the chip I need from him, to then have to walk all the way back down to Virgil again to finish the quest. On literally any other difficulty, you'd save so much time by just fast travelling to and from the locations. But yeah, I can't do that on survival difficulty. But wait, it's not done yet. The Minutemen faction from the start of the video, that I've chosen for them to help me to build the teleporter. So yeah, I then have to walk all the way back to the very top of the map to them. Turns out, I had completely forgotten to join the Minutemen. Oops. After finishing a quick quest and returning to Preston, I hit level 25 for a trophy, and then I get another trophy for joining the Minutemen. With that done, we can now build the teleporter and access the Institute. Going there for the first time completed the molecular level quest and got me a trophy. I'm going to have to summarise this next plot point as best I can, as it's quite important. This is Father. Father runs the Institute. He also happens to be our son Sean, the one we've been looking for the whole game. However, the Institute is evil and does awful things to people, and the only requirement to do the Minutemen ending is to piss off the Institute. So I blasted Sean for being a knob and left the Institute, giving me the next trophy. The Minutemen are not ready yet to take on the Institute though, so we have to complete some quests for them first. I get a trophy for becoming an ally with 3 settlements, and once I have enough settlements we can attempt to take the castle. This is the original base of the Minutemen. For this we just have to go around the castle clearing out nests full of Milo eggs, and then at the end the Queen turns up, but I came well prepared for this, and after bouncing 3 mini nukes off the Queen's forehead, we can talk to Preston and complete the quest, giving me the next trophy. Around this time too, I actually discovered 100 locations, which gave me another easy trophy. At some point later, we discover inside the castle there is a hidden place we can access, containing plans to craft artillery. All I had to do was take out the sentry bot guarding it. With that done, we build our new defence and talk to Preston to finish the quest, giving me another trophy. We are now ready to take on the Institute, finally. Alright, the plan is simple. Me and the boys are going to relay to the Institute, shoot up the place in true Fallout fashion, plant a charge on the Institute's reactor and teleport away, blowing the Institute sky high. Now I actually got a trophy on my way to do this for killing my 300th creature. Thanks to the power of editing, I could just show you the trophies and pretend it was smooth sailing, but it really wasn't. I died over and over and over again trying to get this mission done. Now where were we? Oh yeah, the Institute. Well, they're gone. And I got 2 trophies for blowing them up. This marks the end of the main story, at least for now. War never changes, but the trophy count sure does. For the first trophy I had to craft 100 weapon mods, so I literally just crafted a suppressor and kept removing it from my gun over and over until the trophy popped. There's a total of 13 companions in Fallout 4. I needed to recruit just 5 of them for a trophy. I'd already recruited 4 during the story and I just needed to recruit 1 more. So I headed to Diamond City and recruited Piper to get the trophy. Sadly, her clothes contained a very dangerous amount of radiation and had to be removed. I don't have time to explain, there's more trophies to get. I'd been so focused on the main story that I hadn't really done any side quests. Well, for the next trophy I needed to complete 10 side quests. These are much easier and shorter than normal missions and really weren't a big deal, even on survival difficulty. You know what they say, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. And well, that's exactly what happened. To get the trophy, the harder they fall, I needed to kill 5 giant creatures. Now in this game they either come in the form of a super mutant behemoth or a Mirelurk queen. With a well made build it really isn't much of a problem, and taking out my 5th one got me the trophy. For the next 2 trophies I needed to score a home run and get a touchdown. To score a home run I just had to simply run around all the bases located inside Diamond City. On the other hand, to get a touchdown I needed to die to a mini nuke. And well, I have a mini nuke. The rest is pretty self-explanatory, I'm sure you can figure it out. Collectibles. It's not a hot take, but collectibles are my least favourite part. For the next trophy I needed to pick up 20 magazines. It isn't hard to find them, but having to walk to every single one of them just makes it much more time consuming. If you guessed I'd be going for every single bobblehead collectible next, you'd be right and you win absolutely nothing. And on the way I managed to get 3 trophies out the way. I picked my 50th lock, put my 300th person to sleep forever, and planted a live grenade in someone's pocket. There's actually 2 trophies for bobbleheads though, and I grabbed my first one for getting my 10th bobblehead, and then finally another one for grabbing the 20th and final bobblehead. Next up, I needed to get a companion to max affinity, and for this I chose Codsworth. For some reason he has a raging metal boner whenever you craft a weapon or armor mod, so I spent the next section just sleeping to skip a day, crafting a weapon and armor mod and repeating the process over and over until I reached max rank with him and the trophy unlocked. Next, I set off on a quest to hack 50 terminals for the next trophy. I'd barely done any before now, so it was going to take me a while. So much so that I actually got the trophy for hitting level 50 on the way to doing the terminals. Anyway, after wandering around and hacking every terminal I could find, I hacked the 50th one and got a trophy. Everyone has their gaming sins. Maybe you keep buying FIFA every year and hoping it'll change, or maybe you play League of Legends. Or you used to mid Sombra in Overwatch, or in my case, for the trophy mercenary, I needed to complete 50 miscellaneous objectives. And well, I had already nearly done this, but I couldn't find any more objectives to do. Until, it turns out if you give chems to a lady called Mama Murphy in Sanctuary Hills, it counts. So I repeatedly gave the poor addict as many drugs as possible until I got my trophy. Speaking of chems, I next needed to craft 100 items, and I did this by crafting chems. At least now I have someone who will enjoy them. Now the final cleanup trophy is a little bit long and complicated. I needed to get a large settlement to max happiness. Now, there's a way to cheese this. I had to go to a settlement called Hangman's Alley, give the settlement 20 food and water, place a turret for defense and a sleeping bag in an enclosed area. I had to construct a level 2 bar, and to make the settlement a large settlement, the size bar in the top right of the screen needs to turn yellow. So I did this by placing as much random stuff as I possibly could craft. And once that was done, I brought in an NPC from another settlement that was marked settler and assigned them to the bar. With this done, I could now sleep to skip days, wait until the happiness number went up and repeat the painfully slow process over and over, just sitting around and waiting. Eventually though, I hit max happiness and got the trophy, which was honestly much easier than doing it normally. And with that done, we finished the cleanup trophies. So most people that trophy hunt or platinum this game would just reload a save they made earlier and complete the other endings to the game to get the missable trophies. Well, with the way saving works in survival, there's no way to do this, since only your last 3 saves are stored, and well, I've saved a hell of a lot more times than 3 since I finished the game, otherwise I'd lose all my progress if I died. That means the only way to get the missable trophies is to go on a whole new playthrough starting from the very beginning. This playthrough, I will be siding with the Brotherhood of Steel, and of course to do that, I first need to join them. So instead of going to see the Minutemen like last time, I go to the Cambridge police station. After helping defend the police station, I can talk to a paladin called Paladin Dance. Dance wants me to come with him on a quest for the Brotherhood, to go locate some kind of equipment they need. Well, I died far more than I'd like to admit trying to finish the quest. But once we did, I can accept to join the Brotherhood and I get the first trophy of this playthrough. For the next trophy we must fast forward quite far into the future. After working with the Brotherhood, completing main story quests and their quests, we learn Paladin Dance from literally a minute ago for you, but hours and hours of gameplay ago for me, is actually a synth. And once we've put him to sleep forever, we talk to the Brotherhood of Steel and get the next trophy. It's not a trophy, but man, the Brotherhood is so overpowered. There's this section where you get to power up a robot and it just simply pimp slaps everything. And it's so nice dishing out the punishment instead of receiving it. It's honestly just awesome to watch. It's my favourite part of this whole game. So yeah, the last Brotherhood trophy comes from breaking into the Institute with them. There isn't actually any for finishing the game since I already did that with the Minutemen, so I literally just needed to break in with the Brotherhood, and that's the very last Brotherhood trophy I needed. Now it's time to go all the way back, yet again, all the way back to the start for another playthrough. I'm sure you get the idea. I'll skip over most of the main quests since they're the same, but this time I'm going to be siding with the Railroad. Just like the Brotherhood, to actually join the Railroad I must go on a quest with them, this time with a guy called Deacon. And once we complete the quest, I can join the Railroad and be given the trophy. Now this is where it actually gets interesting. The Railroad actually want me to go undercover in the Institute, so that means I have to play through the Institute quest line as well at the same time, meaning I can get trophies for that too. To get the Mankind Redefined trophy, I meant to sort of take part in a battle at Bunker Hill, but I didn't want to do that in case I messed up the game and annoyed anyone, so I just simply shot the synth that I went with and told father that the plan failed and we were ambushed. He thinks I'm lying, but can't really prove anything. Anyway, once back in the Institute, we can attend the next meeting and be given the Mankind Redefined trophy. Now in the Institute questline, we do eventually become the leader of the Institute because father is dying of the big C word. And after the next trophy, it's time to progress with the railroad ending of the game. However, right now I'm near the end of the game with both factions since I've been having to play through both questlines. So in theory, if I could make a save here by sleeping in a bed, all I'd have to do is make it from here to the end of the game without dying, otherwise obviously I'd come all the way back here. But if I can do that, it will save me from having to do a whole nother playthrough since I can launch this save as soon as I finish the railroad ending. I hope that rambling made any kind of sense at all. Anyway, once back at the railroad, I can warn them about attack on the railroad that is about to happen, giving me the next trophy. Not dying sounds easier than it actually is though. The railroad are enemies with the Brotherhood, and for the last railroad trophy I need to take control of Cambridge Police Station, take control of a vertibird on the roof, fly to the Brotherhood airship, infiltrate the airship and plant explosives, and then flee and watch the airship explode. Now that sounds great, but in reality I died over and over and over again trying to get this done, especially without being able to make saves along the way, so I had to redo the whole thing every time, even if I died halfway through. When I did eventually manage to do it though, returning to the railroad and finishing the quest gave me the last railroad trophy I needed. Honestly, the pain and suffering was worth it though, because now I can reload the save I made earlier and finish the Institute ending, saving me from doing a fourth whole playthrough. Now there's only one trophy that I'm actually missing. The rest of the Institute quests are not really tied to trophies, but I'll explain anyway. To get the Institute ending, I needed to take care of the railroad and the Brotherhood. First the railroad. This is simple, I just needed to shoot all of the leaders of the railroad. The Brotherhood though, I had to attack their base at the airport and take care of the robot I showed briefly earlier in the video. Anyway, once all of that is done, we can speak to father again before he dies and unlock the Nuclear Family Trophy, giving me the Platinum Trophy for Fallout 4. So yes, to answer the question, you can Platinum Fallout 4 on survival difficulty. Would I recommend it though? No, if you just subscribe and let me do the stupid stuff instead.